Hey, everybody, this is Drew with SexyNerdScience.
Hello there. This is Josh, also with Sexy Nerd Science.
Greetings. I'm Dale with Sexy Nerd Science.
Hey, everybody, we've got a great show with you guys.
Wait, what's our podcast called again?
Sexy Science Nerds.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Good show. It's a lovely Tuesday morning here in San Diego. Should I break out the soundboard?
The Donald Trump soundboard? No, we'll be fine this time.
But we're going to talk about some steamy stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, where was I going with that? The soundboard thing threw me off.
Speaking of steam.
Speaking of things that you can listen to.
Like steam.
Like steam.
This is not working out at all.
You guys can go to SexyNerdScience.com/audible or alternatively audibletrial.com/SexyNerdScience and get a free 1-month trial of Audible and a free audiobook for that month. And you can try it out. If you like it, you can subscribe. $14 a month after that, or $14.99 after that, month over month. And
right about that, yep.
And then I'm sure the taxes and junk apply. Does that come with one book per?
Yeah, that gets you
month?
1 credit every month, and that stays there with you.
Huh.
I just realized that I need to update my payment method for my mine so I can keep getting a book. I am currently reading epistemology right now. That's weird. Dale's
just fall.
Oh, that's true. Oh, it did just fall for those of you guys who.
It just fell. It scared the crap out of me. I was like, what just fell?
I'm behind you, Dale.
So yeah, you guys can go to that those links, and I think it's / not /, but does it really matter?
It does. If you're listening to us. It's this way.
Yeah,
that's the /. But you can only be watching.
I think
it starts.
Is that dance?
It is from quadrant 3 to quadrant 2.
To quadrant 1 to quadrant 3.
No. Quadrant 1 would be top left. 2 would be top right.
Yeah. 1, 2.
3 would be bottom.
1 is top right.
It is technically. Yeah, I forgot.
It would go from 1, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Okay. Anyway, SexyNerdScience.com /audible or audibletrial.com /SexyNerdScience. You got to get those free deals, free digs.
If we were to draw the line, it would be y equals x.
Oh my God.
What?
Y equals x.
That means it's 45 degrees.
I mean, it would look similar to that.
I guess.
Y equals 2x.
Okay.
That's about right there.
All right. Anyway.
Someone is in their math mind, like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, I understand.
Somebody listening to this podcast is like, y equals 2x. Okay, yeah, it's that kind of slash.
All right. So we're gonna get in some sexy news here. Let's hear from Dale about his choo-choos.
Choo-choo. So this past weekend, we had the Michigan Central Station open. Or not open, but open for people to view or to come in and look at it and whatnot. It's been closed since the 70s.
A viewing?
Yeah, a viewing. It's been closed since the 70s. It's a pretty big deal. It's a huge building in Detroit. And I think we talked about it briefly a little bit last week, but my job got to go through it. And then over the weekend, Amanda and my neighbor went through it. Really cool inside. They're opening up. Ford bought it, and they're going to make it into like a hub for Corktown, which is pretty much like a suburb of Detroit. It's actually part of Detroit, but it's like a borough. Maybe you can call it a borough. I don't know. It's like a subcategory of it.
Borough, yeah.
Yeah. So, like you have different towns, like Little Italy in New York City or Canal Street or something. It's like that. And so we got to go through it. Really cool. I thought that was worth touching up on. It was built by the same people who built Grand Central Station in New York City. So that was really cool to do. I thought I'd just touch base on that.
Central Station.
Grand Central Station. Anything? No.
Bring largest Apple store in the world.
It's like saying you're a genius.
What?
Like, the Genius Bar?
Yeah. Where they throw around the term genius pretty loosely.
Yeah.
I have a bad habit of telling customers that, like, it might say mobile expert on this name tag, but expertise is really hard to come by.
Yeah, we figured it out. Josh isn't even an expert in cooking steaks because he's not done it for 10,000 hours.
It's true. 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours of cooking steaks.
The stakes were high.
The stakes were very high. Yeah. Well, so why did they decide to open it? Did you discuss that?
So it's been like abandoned for literally like 30, 40 years. And the city recently, in 2009, they wanted to tear it down. And they've had like a society to like try to restore it to its original standing. But no one's really gained traction until they decided to tear it down. So then I think early this year in January.
30 years ago, that was hit by lightning.
So in January, William Ford, one of the chairmen for obviously Ford Motor Company, decided that they wanted to buy it, and they got with the CEO Jim Hackett, and they were like, "We want to buy this to bring back Corktown because Detroit used to have a Ford presence. It currently does not. There's a lot of GM and Chrysler downtown, but there's not Ford. And Ford actually built a lot of the buildings downtown Detroit, but they recently left to go back to Dearborn and kind of during the bad times like bankruptcy and whatnot, or they actually didn't go through bankruptcy, but during the 2008, 2000 whatnot recession, they kind of sold a lot of buildings and got rid of some stuff. And so now when they want to go back to Detroit and make Corktown what it was.
Sweet.
So it's really cool. Look it up.
Maybe Dale will share a picture thread on the Facebook page.
Oh, definitely, I will.
All right, go ahead. See a little bit.
So it's we put it in Sexy News because we always talk about these kind of tragic events in Sexy News. Big Van Vader, wrestler, that was wrestling well up into the early teens of the 2000s here, came to complications from I believe he had a heart failure, but then he also developed the flu on top of that, so he ended up passing away. Big Van Vader, also otherwise known as Vader, the way I know him is not from actually watching wrestling, but from Boy Meets World. He played Frankie Stechino's dad and was basically Vader himself.
Yeah.
In the episode and a few episodes of Boy Meets World. So I thought that was really cool that he was in Boy Meets World, and that he got to essentially be himself. And
besides Hulk Hogan, I'm pretty sure he was one of the first. I guess Andre the Giant. You've got a couple in
one
that
of the greats from the prime, like the Brave
prime. That came over to television and movies.
Yep, and he was also. He went to Japan's wrestling area as well, and
he was the guy that kind of like just wore like the weird strap over his face, right?
Yeah, it was a couple straps on his face. Yeah. But yeah, he's a really big guy, and he's known for being like woof, woof. Yeah. Like, oh, he's just really cool. Had some fun moves.
And of course, Vader. We have to tie in the nerd there.
That's yes. And also, like I said, I know him from Boy Meets World, which is one of my favorite shows ever. And so it was sad to see him go. I'm really curious to see how.
Didn't Eric do a Feeney, but for Vader? Vader.
I know of.
I can't remember.
But I know.
Maybe I'm just making it up.
One of the things I'm looking forward to when we interview some wrestling people is seeing how, how this recent tragedy affects them too. So something that's Yeah, big in wrestling and
A little topical here.
Hall of Famer, one of those kind of things.
We're gonna keep this not sexy train rolling.
Yeah, we're just going downhill in this sexy train.
How I tied in the first bit to the second and third bits.
That's right, because it's a train.
Dale,
we're leaving the station now.
Oh, how many countries are listed on the travel ban?
There are 8 countries listed in the travel ban. The 8 countries include Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Chad, Venezuela, and North Korea. And 6 of those countries are primarily Muslim.
How long has the travel ban been basically, I guess, on the docks, or on the, not docks, but kind of in the books here?
I mean, it was one of the first things.
It was like, I was gonna say,
it's definitely one of the first things.
February of last year,
but up until today, Tuesday, it was so the court said, that was unconstitutional, can't do it, and they kept appealing, and it eventually went to the U.S. Supreme Court, and in a monumental 5-4 decision, they upheld President Trump's travel ban to the 8 nations, which
and the last time this was done was 1944.
Just really crazy to see something like this happen, honestly. I know we talked politics for a little while in this podcast.
We bring them up.
This is just one of those things that, we didn't talk too much about the situation with the immigrants last couple of weeks. That was some big news. This is the second major, I would say, Supreme Court win for the
Trump administration.
Yeah, for this administration. The first one being upholding the Colorado bakers' right to refuse to make the cake. That was a little more gray area because it was just like it
could have boiled down to the customer's not always right.
Yeah, like it was refusing service to a customer based off religious views wasn't necessarily the issue that was being brought before the Supreme Court with that. That was what led to the Supreme Court case, but it was a little more nuanced than that. But this, codenamed the Muslim ban, because of its essential, predominantly of the nations focused, and of the many times that this was proposed, there were more Muslim places in it. It's interesting that
this was actually not the original 8 that they wanted to do.
No. This is one of like the many iterations since its beginning that they've tried to change. It's interesting that North Korea is in there now, seeing as how that was one of the things that Trump was talking about in his meeting, was opening up, the restrictions from North Korea to allow travel between the United States and North Korea. Not directly necessarily, but that could have been one of the things in the future. It's interesting that we're still kind of being like, oh, nope, can't accept anybody traveling from North Korea now. Like that was a problem.
So I think the ultimate question is with this is there's 2 things to look at. There's the one, do you think the president has the right to ban any country that he deems fit or he deems unsafe or dangerous or whatever he says, to not allow them to come into the country? And the second thing is what he said in the campaign in order to win the presidency, and then he did what he said to ban Muslims from coming in. So I think it's a 2-pronged thing. And I think the first prong, at least in my opinion, I think the president has every right to not allow travel between other countries, whatever countries they are. And the second part, I think, sets a bad precedent for future issues. Because, again, the last time this was pretty much done was during World War II. And I'm trying to look that up myself, is trying to find what actual countries that weren't allowed to come in. And I'm sure it's Japan or something like that.
the last travel ban.
The thing that really irked me on this was the reasoning behind it. Like, I agree that, like, if you have good reasons for why you would limit travel from these places, and actually have good justifiable reasons for it, that would be, that would be one thing. But I think the reasoning that was given was not something that is, like, it's not something that is, like, really the case. You're like, here's my reason why we're not going to let these people from these countries in. And then you're like, okay, if that's your real reason why, then why are we letting these people in? And that is what kind of irked me about it. Like, do I feel safer now that we have these 8 nations banned? No, not at all. It's security theater at its best.
I mean, realistically, how are they mitigating that if that's the case? I mean, if you go from Iran to Australia and then from Australia to...
Assuming it's passport.
I'll assume it's passport, yeah.
So it's based upon...
If you have an Iranian passport.
You would need a visa to enter any country, and the visa is given to you by the country. And that's, in the United States, that's given to you at the place where you actually do the customs. Other countries like China and Australia, you need to get it ahead of time. So different visas are given to you during different things. So the United States, most European countries, it's given to you when you land because they have very open borders. But when there is issues like this, it should be noted when they book their flight. It would be, can't go there, but if you still want to book it, we'll pay for it, but you're going to be sent back and you're going to have to pay for it yourself. So, like, let's say somebody from Yemen or Syria booked a flight. Either there's no flights directly, obviously, all those would be canceled. But any flights that were through another country, they would book the flight. They would get here, land, show them the passport. Like, yeah, you can't come. You can't be here. And they'll get either immediately, they'll get obviously arrested right away, detained, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then they'll get sent back here. They're sent back to their country. Yeah. Actually, by definition, I think they get sent back to the country that they came from. I can't remember. It's either one of the two things.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume that they probably just get, can I go back to, it was like, I'm paying for the flight, so can I go to Bahamas then? Or
I mean, a lot of the times though, I think they're like, hey, we're going to put you on this flight and, like, you have to be on it or you're going to face other charges for not taking the soonest flight back that you can.
Yeah. So Dale, you find anything else about the other travel ban?
No, I'm showing different things throughout history. Carter, Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama. There's always been some type of blockage. Obama wouldn't let anybody from North Korea in, or Iran and Syria because of human rights violations. George W. Bush, Lebanon, Syria, and a few other things. So it's always been allowed, but this seems like it's a flat ban for no other reasons except because, how can I say this? There's nothing that provoked a travel ban. It was as soon as he got in office, it acted, and there was no higher threat that happened for this ban to happen. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I think that's what happened in World War II. We finished, or not finished World War. We were in the midst of stopping World War II, and we invoked a travel ban because of Japanese American.
And that's kind of what it's like, reasons. Like there was no good reason for this travel ban, and any reason that I see was given is just, like, it doesn't apply to the other places where, like, oh well, how many, like, this is a terrorist run country, like there's more terrorists that are coming from there. Like, when was the last time we had a terrorist come from this country versus Saudi Arabia or another country where we do get terrorists that have come here? Like, I think that's one of the things that's, like, really unfortunate there, is that I think we're blaming mainly predominant Muslim countries that we don't have good relationships with right now, and being like, you guys are the problems.
Well, I agree. I think it was one of those situations where he got into office, saw it on a TV show or saw it somewhere. He was like, these countries have, I've heard in the news lately, let's ban it from these countries, without doing any research or any background information into figuring out why. I'm all, like I said, I'm all for giving a reason why, like you said, but this is just random. The countries that he's naming, though, in this latest one, I can see some of them, but again, it's like fruit from the poisonous tree. It's one of those things where, because what he said during the campaign, because how he immediately tried to invoke this, and how it had to trickle out, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It makes me not want to support any type of ban like this.
I mean, there's just a couple clumps of countries, because Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, obviously those are all in like South Asia, or between
Middle East-ish,
yeah. But then like Chad and Venezuela is South Africa, right?
Not Venezuela.
Venezuela would be in South America. Well, technically it's in North America, but it's in the where Mexico is, around there.
It's Central America.
Central America.
I mean, yeah. I guess I just have North and South America. I mean, like.
Well, yeah, North America is anything north of the Panama Canal, I thought.
Well, yeah, so
technically, yeah, but they call that area, I guess, Central America.
They call it Central America. It's
as of right now, I've kind of classified anything south of Texas, South America.
Okay.
Fortunately,
I guess that's just good old American Nebraska breeding, right?
Well, I mean, to me, it's like we had Tasha's friend staying with us, and she has lived in Connecticut for like 6 months now, and she came back saying New England, and I feel like that's a really pretentious, like, I lived in New England, so now I can call it New England kind of thing. Whereas Central America it's just Central America. It's
like, I'm sure I think actually, if I'm correct, like Mexico,
it's like a no, you're right. It's like it's a given America. It's a given name, like New England is, but it's not used as often because people say I'm from Venezuela or wherever, actual Panama or wherever. But anyway, that just was getting off topic there. What was I going to say about this? Hold on. We need to correct something. I apologize. Venezuela is part of South America.
It is?
It is, yes. So Central America is between Colombia and Panama.
Okay.
That's the Panama Canal is actually in the middle of Panama. And Colombia is part of South America. Venezuela is directly to the northwest of Colombia, but is part of the South America.
Yeah, Chad is in Africa, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yep, middle of Africa.
Seems like this. I guess it seems so weird. Was there any sort of like terroristic activity in any of those other countries?
Yeah, the ones that are finally named do have a history of terrorism, do have a history of poor governments, corruption. So like we talked about, this is the latest iteration in many of the travel bans. So from the first travel ban being just Muslim countries that he heard on the news, to actually filtering it out to something that, if he wouldn't have said stuff in the campaign, I guess we could have maybe been like okay with, at least not have had a big deal about it, not have had a big Supreme Court decision over. Yeah. But these eight countries do have some either terroristic tendencies or do have ties to corrupt governments. Venezuela's government is garbage right now. Obviously North Korea. But I'm not familiar with Chad, but I have heard it in the news before. But again,
picture quote of like, I mean, I call it picture quotes, or, you know, thread memes, where it's like somebody said, America is supposed to be the great American melting pot, blah, 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 or something like that. And then one of the responses, and it's a clever, witty response, but I mean, it makes sense, and it kind of falls into where we're saying if there's a reason is you don't put salt in your cereal, you know, you don't mix an ingredient that doesn't bode well with the rest of the ingredients, in a sense. And I just thought it was at first when I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? But
I think that's too simple of a analogy for the actual issue at hand. I get with what you're saying, but at the same sense, the country itself was, in my understanding, brought up in Christian European culture, and anything outside of that is pretty much other, is not primarily, you know, white culture. And so anything outside of that is deemed, you know, we call it the melting pot, is everything outside of the white culture is just the other. And then recently I think we've incorporated some African American into that white European culture, and then everything outside of that is still other. Even though the United States has tons of different cultures within, like, you can't say what's the American culture. There's not one. You can say there's an English culture, you can say there's almost any other country's culture, but as an American culture, we're so diverse in anywhere in the United States. You go to California, different than New York, different than Louisiana, different than Texas, different than states right next to each other. And so I think that melting pot. What?
I said, yeah, like Nebraska and Iowa.
I'm not familiar with that. I thought they were the same or state. My bad.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding. But no, it is a melting pot by being able to. I think we're people that view us as a melting pot, or view us not as that white European country, is in trying to bring in more culture, trying to bring in more people, because we have the room, we have the availability to it. But people that don't want that, I don't know.
There's a really good statistic for how many Nobel Prizes were awarded to people in the United States that were from other countries that were immigrants, you know, like, and I guess this does kind of tie in with the immigration thing. Like, I don't like the fact that, you know, if we're going to say, like, okay, if your country was affiliated with terrorist regimes or terrorist activities, like, and we limit it to these, like, why not Afghanistan? Why not Iraq? Why not, you know, like, so the other places where there are still like heavy Al-Qaeda presences, like, we're not doing anything about those. You know, Afghanistan and Pakistan are both off this list. They were on it at one point in time. Saudi Arabia.
I believe because of the stabilization that the United States has given to those countries.
I'll say we
Afghanistan is worse than Iran and Libya and Syria right now.
Than Syria?
Yes.
I don't think that Syria.
Like, if you look at,
they have chemical attacks there once every few months.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's like, there's hardly any centralized government in Afghanistan right now. Like,
last time I checked, which I'm going to be honest, has been a while. There was more stabilization in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I think it's actually one of the most violent, like, Syria and Afghanistan are two of the most violent places in the world.
We will look into that, but I think we need to continue on to nerdy news.
Yeah.
But we will get back to you on statistics so I can look them up.
I think we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we can talk about it next week. If you guys like this too, you know, please comment on Facebook and on SoundCloud or any other place. You know, I get them, and we like to hear from you guys. You know, Philip DeFranco says it best. You know, it's a conversation. We like hearing from what you guys like to hear that we talk about. So,
yeah, I love to argue on Facebook. It's my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so nerdy news.
All right, guys. So the next event that yours truly, is there a way to, is yours truly, us truly?
Yeah.
No, yours truly. It's still, it's because it's the person.
Whatever. We're going to Comic-Con.
Yeah. So that's going to be July 13th, 14th, and 15th. This next month here. I guess when this drops, yeah, it'll still be June. So July 13th, 14th, 15th, about 3 weeks away.
Mid-America Center.
Yep. You guys can check us out in the podcast arcade, booth to be determined. We're not certain yet on exactly what booth that's going to be yet, but you'll see us with our whole setup and shebang. Sans Dale.
Dale will not be joining us.
Dale, maybe we'll have him step in for a session or something.
Have to do that. That'd be fun.
Maybe we'll put you on the pad or on the computer.
Cutouts. That's what we need. Cutouts.
Oh, we need cutouts. Oh, we got to go to Fathead.
Do that one with me in that Coke outfit, Josh.
All right, so
Dale with a mountain of cocaine.
Yeah.
No, it's Coca-Cola.
So we'll be there. Josh, who are you looking forward to seeing there?
I really want to see Booker T. And I think it's going to be pretty awesome to talk to Ming Chen again. I think that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We had some good conversation. I got some questions to ask him. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of, I think, so I'm going to comment on this right now. I saw someone post, they're like, oh, the celebrity lineup this year, like, I'm not impressed, so I'm not excited for Comic-Con. I'm like, dude, like, I don't care what you're thinking. I mean, this is one of those things where it is, I think, it's going to be an awesome con. It's going to be probably a little smaller this year than the other years that it's been going on. But to still support this, is going to just make next year's even better. So I'm not ever, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this isn't as good as last year's. Like, you can't have Stan Lee come to a Comic-Con every single year. Like,
Yeah.
It's just not feasible. So, I mean, people, I think, need to understand this is a business as well, not just a, who can you see at the time. Like,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it bugs me about that. I think that was one of the comments that I really hated. I'm always going to support Comic-Con. That's where we started from. And
It's our birthright.
yeah, it's something that, hey,
I don't disagree with you.
I will agree with that because it's something that, like, this is our home con. I'm going to support. I'm a Lions fan to the end, no matter how bad they're losing, because that's my home team. This is my home con, but fuck Motor City Comic-Con for real.
I was like, Motor City was pretty bad. No, you'd said that last time you couldn't say those things because just in case they got invited to them.
Just kidding.
Well, I mean, we're just kidding until they invite us. Then, hey, Motor City Comic-Con.
I will gladly give my opinion to whoever from Motor City Comic-Con.
Be fair, that was only 2017 Motor City Comic-Con. We did not go to 2018.
Correct, but I have heard the exact same things from
totally
years as well.
I mean, all my friends went to this year's, and I was like, but we're definitely going to go to Michigan Comic-Con. We're looking forward to that one.
Michigan Comic-Con. I can't wait.
So Dale, is there anybody that
that you want us to see
you're looking forward to us talking to? Have you looked at the lineup at all?
I'm honestly going to be honest with you. I have not looked at the lineup. I am the locations for my cruise I've looked at. What kind of Wi-Fi I can get, drink packages, but who's going to Comic-Con? I did not look up
that weekend. Yeah.
Dale, you have not booked a cruise yet, and you're 3 weeks out.
No, he's good.
I said I haven't booked my excursions and all. I was joking. I didn't look up who was going to Comic-Con because I'm not going. So,
I know. But are you actually going on a cruise?
Yeah.
We're also going to have our good friends Project Nerd that'll be there too. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Oh, are they going to?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think we're going to try and see if Iggy wants to crash down here with his daughter because I'll have Charlie that weekend.
Sweet.
No,
Cool.
I'll have Charlie that week. Anyway, I am looking forward to a couple people. First off, Jenna Ayoub. That's how.
Is that how you pronounce that last name?
Ayoub.
Ayubi?
Ayub.
Ayube?
I don't know. She's the
Illustrator?
Yeah, illustrator for some popular Cartoon Network shows, but most notably my favorite, The Amazing World of Gumball. And I'm really excited to meet her and maybe see if she can do some Gumball sketches because I want a Gumball sketch. And then obviously you have like we talked about Ming Chen, and Booker T, but also who was it?
Do you know if Michael Wilson's going to be there?
Michael Wilson will not be there,
No.
unfortunately.
Okay.
But Papa Bear will be there.
Papa Bear.
Baroness Von T, one of our. So we'll probably have another cosplay thing with them again on our thing.
I'll have to have a reoccurring con segment, and then two cosplayers that we haven't. I don't think we've come across, Sevilla and Termina. So looking forward to getting in touch with them and making sure everybody's cosplayed up. And then, of course, cosplay calling like we did last year. Or not last year, but at Planet Comic-Con. Tickets are on sale now. You can buy them
before the show.
Yep. You can get a 3-day pass for $45, which is $10 off the 3-day badge if you buy it now. Additionally, you can get single-day passes for $5 off for each day if you buy them now. But if you're getting each pass individually, you're looking at spending $75, whereas $80, whereas if you were to buy the 3-day pass, you're getting almost half off. So half. Yeah. Anything else you want to kind of preempt this con with?
I just wanted to say we were super late getting our money in for this con. So I'm really I like that, Gallo is a big part of this con. Matt Fuyan, who we've had on the podcast before, is the guy who's running it all, and then Eddie, our correspondent with the con,
who's part of Daydream Instruction Manual.
Yeah, just honestly, I feel really welcome at this convention. Like, I feel like things are going to go great for us while we're there. So I always love that. Really looking forward to Okamicon this year.
I also want to mention that the website for Okamicon has been crap the previous years, phenomenal this year.
Yeah, they really stepped up on the website, except for they're missing some stuff on there about
a SexyNerdScience podcast thing.
Oh, crap.
Nothing about any of the podcasters, which was some of the feedback we gave them last year. Hopefully in the coming weeks, they do some of those updates. We had very little presence in the pamphlet for last year. There was literally just a little podcast arcade corner, and it didn't even have our names listed in that area. What else? I don't know. I don't want to say struggled to get interviews going, but I think they have tried to remedy that this year with letting us know that, or letting the guests know that the podcast arcade is going to be there. So
yeah, I think it'll be something that's a lot better. Speaking of terrible websites, I apologize for our Sexy Nerd Science website.
Yeah, it needs to be updated.
We need to update that a lot.
I apologize. Yeah, that's
on that.
I've got a backlog of videos that I'm working on too.
I know I've heard, people are like, oh, like, you guys want to hear our comments? That was one of the comments that I've heard a couple times, is that, wow, your website needs to be updated. It has, like, it's old. So we're sorry about that. We try to keep you updated on our Facebook and SoundCloud. But yes, SexyNerdScience.com will be getting updated here soon. So apologize about that. Let's move on.
I have all next week off, so I think that'll be a good catch-up time before the cruise.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll be cruising into the new.
But the next thing we want to talk about, I am super excited about talking about.
Despite I'm still Luke Cage.
So Luke Cage season 2 is now on Netflix. I was a big fan of season 1. I was a big fan of the Defenders. I have watched all of season 2 already. Drew and Josh have not. I 100% recommend it. It is phenomenal.
Talk about the first 4 episodes.
No, let's not talk about that yet. Let's give it a little while for the.
Yeah, because even people that, it just came out on Friday.
So one of the things I've noticed, I loved the soundtrack for Luke Cage season 1.
Somebody said that already on Facebook. It wasn't you.
I really do like the soundtrack for season 2. It has more of a jazz.
I think
feel
you
to
like it.
The season 1 soundtrack was more hip hop, I thought, and this one so far there's been a lot of jazz theme, at least in the first half.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but because it does have a little bit of flashback to it, about the time, like the 40s, or when the main guys were kind of a little younger. It does go back to some jazz, but Josh is right with the season 2 soundtrack. I was very impressed with. Like, these are my nice headphones, and I was listening. Like, I took off my big thing and I put on my headphones, and I was just sitting here like jamming. I was like, Amanda, don't talk to me because I can't hear you. I'm just jamming out, listening to this music.
I did hear in episode 1 they had the Luke Cage theme that Method Man was rapping on in season 1. What's My Name? I can't remember the name of the song.
Well, it wasn't like a remix of it.
No, it was like the original song, but it was just playing in the background. But it was really good. I was proud of that too. I love that. Was one of my favorite songs. Bulletproof Love. That's what it's called.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm excited to finish it up. Tasha and I have been watching it into the wee hours of the morning when the baby's not sleeping. So yeah, let's get into some web content here.
Yeah. So kind of in our nerdy news, but also our sexy nerds of the month. We've been focusing on our YouTubers, no one specific, but just kind of some of our favorite YouTubers.
There's going to be some of our mentions for the first week. We'll get some more into next week.
Yeah.
For the last recording in June.
So I know Dale and I added a bunch into these. I don't know, Drew, do you know any of these that you would want to say off the top of your head that I mentioned? Or
I know a couple. Obviously, like some of them more not some of them that are less people and more kind of like entity type.
Yeah, like
Vsauce and Vertasium.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know how you guys want to do this. Jesus,
so I'm just gonna start talking about the ones I like.
Gonna do.
Yeah. So
first ones.
What?
So mine are the first ones.
Yeah. So
okay,
sue me. So
now we're here.
YouTube has what?
I was just singing. Started from the bottom. Now we hear. In my head.
Gotcha. So YouTube as a kind of like a, how would you want to call it? Not a TV show, but as a website that gives you content to watch has blown up, and they have channels. If you guys didn't know already, and a lot of these channels are tailored to different things: gaming, building things, just doing stupid stuff, and each one of them has its own character, its own unique. The same people on it every week. It is great. You can almost set your watch to watching these. I'm just going to name a few of the ones that are my favorite, and I think one of the first ones I would have to say is Alex Steele. Forge and Fire on the History Channel has really come up lately. It's building stuff out of metal, and Alex Steele is a guy from the UK, and he's been building stuff for about 2 years now, and it's very cool.
He has the character accurate type of like weaponry and stuff.
The Man at Arms too, wasn't that?
Is that man? He's Alex Steele's from Man at Arms, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so. Okay. But he might be. I don't know though. But he does his own. He has his own shop. He does his own thing. Point is though, really cool. I recommend checking him out. He has a unique take on how he actually films everything. So definitely recommend it. There's another channel called How Ridiculous. And almost their entire show is dropping stuff off of high buildings or this high tower they have. What?
They're Australian, right?
They sound Australian, yeah. I'm not sure if they're in Australia still, but they drop stuff off of high buildings. They drop, like, one of it was a bowling ball on an axe blade, a couch on a trampoline. It's just stupid stuff, but it's funny. It's funny to see what happens. They do it in slow motion. Really cool.
That's the guy that dropped the water balloon into the pool table and it broke through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that episode or that one. They were going to do a bowling ball and the water balloon broke the table and he was like, well, shit, the bowling ball's definitely going to do it.
Yeah, water balloons can do some damage when they're traveling at high speeds.
Yeah. So the next one is called The Modern Rogue, and that one has I wanted to bring it up because I don't watch it as much, but one of the people that actually are on there, and I'm trying to look up his name right now, Brian Brushwood, I believe his name is. He's a famous magic artist, and he's done a lot of cool stuff. And the other guy is Jason Murphy. One of their Twitter things says professional idiots testing anything in any field. It's really unique to see all the things they test. They've done whiskey, they've done electricity, they've done pretty much everything. Little take on it, learning a little bit of stuff, but very unique way of doing it. More, I don't want to say like it's like posh or new age, but it has that old script feel. Does that make sense? I don't know. Then you have obviously Epic Rap Battles of History. They haven't done anything in the past year and a half, but I thought I'd mention them. A lot of cool, fun things they do with different raps throughout history. You also have Rhett and Link. Anybody knows who Rhett and Link is. They've been on TV. They've done tons of stuff. They have Good Mythical Morning, a daily TV show during the week. They do tons of crazy stuff. Very funny. Good for a family. They also, ones that I personally watch, because those are like the main ones that are pretty well known. The ones that are a little smaller are Muselk and Bazagaza. They do videos with Fortnite and Overwatch. Trainer Tips does Pokemon Go. Unbox Therapy is a Canadian guy who
I love Unbox Therapy,
who unboxes stuff. I think he's one of the biggest YouTubers right now.
Yeah.
I don't watch him all the time, but he does a very good job. He reviews the products and everything.
I like watching him for the products that I care about or am interested in. But even when he does products that I'm not interested in, he does a really good job. So like I'll watch one that I like and then I'll fall into one that I just am watching to watch. He did these really cool he gets free shit from everywhere, obviously. To do the unboxing videos. And he got these like $300 wood carved iPhone cases, and like the quality of the video made the quality of those cases.
Well, that's why people send him stuff, is because he reviews it and it's good quality review.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
The next one I watch is obviously an old favorite, College Humor. They've been around since the beginning of YouTube. A lot of funny shows on that.
And Funny or Die.
What is it?
Funny or Die.
Funny or Die. Yeah. I think I've heard of that one. I'm not familiar with it, but I've heard of it. Yeah. And then the last one I've been watching a lot lately is called Bon Appetit. Have a Bon Appetit. It's like the French word of saying like have a good meal or something.
I know what it is.
Okay. And they have a few like sub channels within that show, and or within that channel, and it's hilarious. It's just hilarious with the 2 different shows they have, or 3 different shows. Definitely recommend checking out if you like food. They deal with lots of food, and they make like crappy food but gourmet. And they have a show called It's Alive, and they talk about different food that's, bacteria that's alive, or like a lobster or something. They cook it and they show you how to do stuff.
Real quick, back to the Alex Steele bit. He was not part of Man at Arms.
Okay.
That was Tony Swatton. Just give the credit where credit's due there, because I don't want to say his bit and then not give him as a name sake. Josh, you want to pick out some of the ones that you want to talk about?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Hank and John Green. Both are known for Crash Course, which is a PBS channel. They've got some good videos. Mental Floss is John Green. And for those of you listening, they're like, John Green, that sounds like an author. He is most definitely an author that everyone knows about. They are brothers. They started VidCon a couple years ago. They do the Vlog Brothers. They were one of like the YouTube originals back in the day to really make it big in the beginning. And I don't want to be like they sold out, because they definitely didn't sold out, but they have since cashed in a lot to make it really legitimate. YouTube people that have made their TV thing. I forgot one of the people I didn't even put in here is Liza Koshy was a Viner. And she went from Vine to YouTube to now she's going to be one of the announcers on Double Dare when they bring that back. So she's been very successful as well. Which is
like next week.
I know.
I wanted to mention one thing about Tank and John Green. Their channel itself actually has a bunch of sub-channels. Crash Course you mentioned. Mental Floss itself is not owned by them. I believe it's owned by PBS, but they are a big, heavy influence on it. I believe they're either directors or co-writers. Obviously, Vlog Brothers, they created VidCon, like you said. The Art Assignment, Sex Plantation, Healthcare Triage, Hank Games, 100 Day, SciShow. Can't believe I forgot that one.
Oh, yeah.
SciShow Space, SciShow's Psych. Those are their channels that they have.
Yep. And the Crash Course, they're doing History of Science right now. That's really good. I love watching that one. And whenever I'm bored, I listen to the History of Philosophy as well, because it's a real good crash course on philosophy. There's Vsauce is one of my other favorite channels that I watch. Vsauce 1, 2, and 3. Michael being the main person there. They've got another channel called Dong, which stands for Do It Online Now, guys, I think is what it stands for. And it's a bunch of like things that you can do. Like basically, hey, are you bored? Check out the Dong channel. The Dong channel can tell you, what you can do to pass some time online. It's pretty sweet. The next one was something that Drew wanted me to put up there. So Drew, do you want to talk about it real quick?
Yeah. So one of my biggest bits I watch on YouTube, it's a YouTube channel or is tested, and specifically Adam Savage's 1 day builds. Those are, he's got his 1 day builds, and then he's got his regular, like I said, tested show. So I watch both of them, but the 1 day builds are kind of what draws me to the channel. He just did one the other day, and I thought Josh would appreciate it. He had the Nerf Rivals gun, and he rigged it with 1,000 bullet clip that clips onto the top.
A hopper, yeah,
like big ass hopper. Well, it's technically a whole clip.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, if he were to make another one, he could interchange them or change them out. But yeah, so I thought it was pretty neat. And then we got. Did you ever mention Veritasium?
I didn't mention Veritasium yet. No,
we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So first of all, there's Smarter Every Day is a channel run by a gentleman named Destin, who he's an engineer in, I want to say, Kentucky, or pretty close to that area. Brilliant man. Really fun to watch.
Would you say he's a genius?
Probably. He's up there. Veritasium as well.
Do you want me to talk about Destin at all?
If you know more about Destin.
I just Wikipedia. American engineer, best known for his educational videos, Smarter Every Day, on YouTube channel, started in 2007. He is in Alabama. Yeah, because he works at, his alma mater is the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and he is a rocket engineer currently.
Say his alma mater?
Alma mater. Alma mater.
That's the word we're looking for.
Yeah.
Llama mother?
Veritasium is another really good channel that also was doing a history of science that I thought was very good, and epistemology. but also does some really good science videos. He's on Bill Nye Saves the World a bunch of times. He's one of the news correspondents on there. There's Simon Whistler, who is from Top 10's Net, and Today I Found Out. He's a bald British guy. Fantastic. Hello Greedo is probably one of my favorite Star Wars channels. It's just a dude who does like a bunch of Star Wars reviews, wears a stormtrooper helmet while he's doing it. I believe he's an ex-Marine, but he's, I mean, just awesome to listen to his stuff and hear his opinions. He does really, really good videos, honestly. We've talked about Tev, which is Transformed Evolved, which is a really awesome channel talking about cleaner, greener future and transportation and stuff like that. Brave Wilderness is awesome. Coyote is the main guy in there. He likes to go get bit by animals, and he climbed the insect sting pain index. Just, I mean, awesome videos. It reminds me of watching like the Jeff Corwin Experience or even Steve Irwin. Just really good respect for animals. Number File is a great math channel. They also have a math comedy show that I've been watching a lot of lately. So I thought that was an awesome way to teach math. Minute Physics, Minute Earth, also kind of a quick thing. The thing I really like about those channels is their ability. They draw their animations like while they're recording the video. So a lot of it's been Vihart. Oh, that was another math one too, where they did that, where they draw their animations as they're talking, and animate that together. And it just was an awesome thing. And then I think finally here,
the one we love to hate.
The one we love to hate, and by hate, just Dale. Everybody else loves them. Philip DeFranco.
They have a T-shirt that says, "I hate Philip DeFranco," so I'm not the only one that hates him.
I'm sure lots of people do,
and yet I watch him daily.
I still love Philip DeFranco, and even if he didn't yell at you, I'd still love him because I think he does an awesome job.
Dale, will you remind everybody what happened between you and Philip DeFranco?
Me and Philip DeFranco had a small disagreement on the amount that he should have to tweet. That's pretty much it.
He comedically came back and really just burned Dale a new one. But it was definitely unexpected. Like it was like, and Philip DeFranco was still in his heyday, like at that time, like he was.
Wait, isn't your heyday like the good days?
Well, so Philip DeFranco, just in case you didn't know, like he started SourceFed, was bought by Discovery and had like a huge channel, like bigger than he has right now because of all the Discovery influence he had. And then it kind of went down, and now he's doing his own thing. It's independent. It's just not nearly as big of a channel as what he had before. Just saying.
Wow.
But so that was what I meant by heyday. Like he was starting to become famous to the point where like he could go to places and like tens of thousands of people would like, not really, but like 5,000 people would crowd an arena just to meet Philip DeFranco.
Yeah. I feel like heyday means I don't know. Is not an old timey saying. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to.
I'm an old timer.
Let's get to the last little bits here. Yeah, sciencey news.
Yeah.
So those are also the sexy nerds of the month. I don't know if we want to jump back to that segment or
the entire
not.
YouTube community.
It's basically YouTube community. We'll touch on some more next week. I'm gonna bring some into next week with some chutzpah. Yeah, so we're going to get over back into sciencey news. Dale's
got my blind science
Dale's
question?
doing a blind science question today.
Yes.
And we'll kind of go from there.
So Josh, you are 4 for 4 right now. Let's see if you can be 5 for 5.
For fighting?
Yeah, so this is kind of, I would say this is science, but it's more mythology. And it is specifically Greek/Roman mythology. with
Okay.
the names of the planets. So you know the 9, 8 planets, whatever you want to call it. I want you to tell me the name of each planet, but I want you to tell me the Greek equivalent.
The Greek equivalent.
So pretty much give me the Roman equivalent, which is the name of the planets, and then the Greek equivalent.
So starting from the inside, I'm going to say Mercury, Hermes,
So far, so good.
Venus, Aphrodite, Earth, technically Gaia, Gaia, if you will.
I'll go with that.
Then there is Mars, which is Aries, followed by Saturn or Jupiter, which would be Zeus. Saturn would be Neptune. Or Saturn would be not Neptune. Saturn would be Saturn is Kronos. Yes, Saturn's Kronos.
I don't have that one.
Yeah. Well, Saturn is the father of Jupiter.
Yeah.
And so father of Zeus is Kronos, because Kronos was the Titan. And then after that, you have Neptune, which was Poseidon. Oh man, Uranus is going to be the tough one. I don't think there is a Greek god for Uranus.
But there's a Greek god in Uranus.
Yeah. The only reason I remember that, when Uranus was discovered, they wanted to name it George after King George. They weren't going to give it a
Greek
Roman
or Roman name
or a Roman name. They gave it a Roman name for Uranus, but I don't think it corresponds to a Greek god.
It does, but I've never heard of this Greek god.
Don't tell me right now then. Pluto is not technically a planet anymore, but that was technically going to be Hades. But instead they named the moon Charon after Chiron after one of the
It's showing me on this Hades Pluto.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Hades,
Yeah.
Pluto. But then they named the moons of Pluto, the 2 moons or 1 moon of Pluto after I can't remember now. Charon. I can't remember who that was. Oh, it was the guy who fed his family, or he fed the Greek gods came to visit the king, and then the king fed them one of his subjects, killed his kids.
That's fine. I mean, that's more than I'm looking for.
But
So you were great. I mean, that's
Uranus. Uranus is the king of everything. Oh my God, I remember this now. Oh, don't tell me. This is going to drive me crazy because I know who it is. It's the father of Kronos, who is Gia's husband. Oh my God, this is going to drive me crazy.
you're right there.
Oh my goodness, I know this too. Nyx is night. Chaos Kronos. Frick, you got to tell me. I don't remember the Greek name for him.
It is Aranos.
Oh yeah. It's technically
Anos.
Uranus. Yeah.
Uranus.
Yeah.
So technically, this Uranus is backwards because the Roman mythology was Salius. So Uranus is the Greek god
name. Yeah.
is the Greek name.
Uranos.
Yeah. And Salius or Salus, Calus.
I don't think they cared in Roman mythology.
Yeah, it's Caelus.
Yeah. In ancient Greek literature, Uranus was the father of sky and was son of husband of Gaia and mother of earth.
So one of the things that I think is awesome is Saturn is Kronos, and Kronos was a Titan, and the moons of Saturn are named after Titans, including one of them being Titan.
Hey.
Or no, one of Jupiter's moons is Titan, and then Saturn's moons are other Titans. You'll have like Atlas. I can't remember all the names of the Titans now, but there were a bunch of Titans that are also the names of Jupiter and Saturn's moons.
I think
Enceladus, that's one of the other Titans. I remember that one now.
I think at 5, I think at 5 he got it right.
You should give me.
That's definitely given to you. So Atlas is one. There's a lot of them actually.
What?
There's a lot of Titans.
Enceladus is one. There's 69 moons of Saturn right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27.
This last week, there's 69.
30. There's 30 Titans.
Yeah, there's huge. There's a bunch of them. I know Enceladus is big. I can't remember. You guys, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. The only reason I know all this is Percy Jackson.
I was like, I know all this because of Hercules, the cartoon
from
Disney Channel.
God of War 2 is another one that, yeah.
That's where
there is no planet named after Kratos, though. Unfortunately.
No, but they should.
There is Phobos and Manos, which are Mars's moons, which is phobia and fear. Or fear and panic. That's what it is.
Pain and panic.
Pain and panic, yeah.
Coming your most lugubriousness.
That's right.
If it's good. All right. Next bit here. And I want to see, is there any pictures with this?
The Tesla pickup truck, it literally
with the link.
Minutes before we recorded this podcast, I was checking Elon Musk's Twitter.
This just in. Tesla is going to design a pickup truck. So let's get some of the stuff here pulled up.
Elon Musk has just been tweeting things, which is what he does. That's not a real picture.
Whoa. All right, so let's see here. What would you love to see in a Tesla pickup truck? I have a few things in mind, but what do you think are small but important nuances, and what would be seriously next level? It's a tweet from today at 1:08 p.m. So just at about noon. What else? Let's see here.
Dead Space. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Josh to talk here.
Well, I mean, so one of the things that
I was like, it just came out. I don't think he knows everything.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that he said it's going to have, it's going to be all-wheel drive. It's going to have like air suspension, so it's going to be able to raise and fall.
Yeah, with most of this article, I had it up earlier and I was looking at it. Says it's going to be all-wheel drive, dual motors, crazy torque. But as far as like the concept picture that we're going to post is literally a basic article. There'll probably be more information in the next 2 days.
Yeah, they're not going to have, the picture that they have on this article is not the real one yet. This is literally just Elon Musk like, hey, this is the announcement that he had for, I want to do this. And that's why I was like, we should talk about this now because it's awesome.
Yeah.
But one of the things he mentioned that's going to be really cool is he wants to have a 240 volt power outlet connected to a separate battery pack on the truck. That way, power your tools.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Ford's doing that right now with their like. I think I talked about this before. Is their autonomous vehicle that they're going to come out with, or the first truck that they're coming out with in 2019? Is going to be a F-150, but it's going to have a 240 line in the back with a separate battery pack that's a hybrid. So you can run all your power tools from the back. It's also a hybrid. It also has autonomy. And it's weird to have a truck as the frontliner for this, but that's what they're doing.
Hey,
they're not making any cars anymore, so what they got to do something.
Yeah, with that announcement going forward. It's something that I think is just the next iteration of let's get more people out there. I think it's going to be awesome.
I would drive that truck.
It's going to be awesome for business owners because a lot of people own their own businesses. And one of the things I found out that if I could have gotten my Tesla under a business loan, it would be a lot easier to pay for than what I'm doing right now.
I mean, we knew that. It
I
just
know.
was not feasible for your time frame.
Exactly. So
You're
Yeah.
too impatient.
I was too impatient. That is true. I wanted my Tesla now, and I still love it. But that's going to be it for Science-y news.
Yeah. I think it kind of wraps it up for the whole day.
Yeah, we talked about our sexy, nerdy, and science-y topics. Our sexy nerd of the month was our YouTube topics there. So when you're not listening to our podcast, you should go check out all those YouTube channels because that'll pass your time. Can't hear you, Dale.
Sorry, I unmuted myself. We'll put as many links as possible in the description of everywhere we post this, of the ones that we think are our favorite. So please go check those out.
For sure.
Yeah. Any final thoughts or last words? Or
hopefully you guys will have seen Jurassic World by next week, maybe. I hope. No?
I don't want to see it.
Okay, it's really good for those of you guys. But we just can't talk about it because a lot of you guys haven't seen it. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp is this weekend that I'm going to go see at least. So I'm excited for that. So we'll see you guys next week. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those fun things. Make sure to sign up for our SoundCloud or our Audible trial. So SexyNerdScience.com/Audible.
Or audibletrial.com/SexyNerdScience.
We also have t-shirts on Teespring. They're always available, so feel free to buy one of those. And if you guys have any questions, like we said earlier, leave comments on YouTube, on SoundCloud, anywhere that you can leave a comment, leave it. I'll make sure I get it.
Try not to just text us.
Yeah,
No.
Don't text me.
Text Dale. His number is
867-5309.
That's right.
Dale, let's give our friend codes out.
Oh, yeah. So if you guys are familiar with Pokemon Go, as we talked about prior podcasts, they just installed Trading and Friends on there. So if you would like to be our friend, my name is Tisby on Pokemon Go, and my trainer code is 7235 0552 2444.
Drew's trainer code is 1923 2793 5322.
And I'm opening up my app. I don't cheat anymore, so it takes forever to open up my app.
And so Josh doesn't need to be your friend because he used to be a cheater, and nobody likes cheater pumpkin eaters.
Pumpkin eaters.
Catch up because I'm not a cheater. And my code is 822796094648. Josh Gibby.
Hashtag
Trainer codes.
Hashtag
All right,
Magikarp
everybody.
on my head.
Thank you guys for. Why do you guys both have Magikarps on your head?
What?
You guys both have your Magikarp hats on.
Oh, yeah. I love Magikarp.
All right, guys. Catch you next.
Carp. Magikarp. Carp.
Magikarp.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.